It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council to be in session. There's only one member present.
Isn't that bizarre? There's a Uh,
Get a good group.
it's 20 minutes after 10, and we have Mrs. Chick, Ms. Misikowski, Mr. Wax, Mrs. Walder. We have 5 members present. We need 5 more for a quorum. Sergeant, would you go see if you can find 5 members? Handcuffs are permissible. would the council please come to order? We are expecting quorum momentarily, but we do have some presentations, and so we're going to start with the presentations. And let me point out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 14th day of May, 1999, one of the great days of the year. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So with that, we will call on Mrs. Chick for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask to come up and join me Coach Terry Fisher and the wrestling team champions of Los Angeles City from El Camino High to come join me here so you can be on TV. Yeah, come all the way around, okay? Colleagues, this is a name that should be very familiar to you, El Camino High. It seems just about every year since I've been in office, either because of academic achievements and/or athletic achievements, that I am bringing in champions from El Camino High School in Woodland Hills, and very proudly doing that. Today is the third consecutive city championship honoring for the wrestling team from El Camino High, and I'm soon to do the same for the soccer team. The wrestling team recorded an impressive 30 wins this season with only 5 losses, and this is their 4th citywide championship in 6 years. I am very pleased to introduce this year's 1999 CIF Los Angeles City Wrestling Champions. First of all, Coach Terry Fisher. There. You can tell he's the coach because he's not dressed quite the same as everybody else. And now, as I read the names, I'll be giving the certificates in the back room. As I read your name, if you'd kind of bow, nod, raise your hand, something so that we know who you are. Joshua Berg. Jamar Cargo. Salvador Flores. Manuel Gonzalez. Edward Hernandez. Shaheen Janhadgard. Did I do that well? Yeah, very good. Eugene Korchmorev. Edward Lemus. Moshe Levy. Daniel Mencia. Matthew Roman. Anthony Thomas. Ryan Umali. And Matthew Welch. Did I leave anybody out? Okay, I want to thank all of you, and by the way, besides being athletic champions, you are looking at good students, just all around wonderful guys, and I want to say a hearty congratulations and hope that all of you, or some of you at least, are not graduating, and we expect to see you back again. Coach, would you like to say a few words?
It's always a thrill for me. Oh my goodness, it's always a thrill for me to come back here, all these many opportunities to thank our city council, our school board, our school administrators, and the faculty and families that support our wrestling program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks for being role models for younger kids. Congratulations. And now I'd like to call up the 1999 CIF Los Angeles City Soccer Champions, as I said, also from El Camino High. This team, colleagues, is only in its 6th season, and yet it had a record this year of 23 wins, 4 ties, and only 4 losses. After being seeded 3rd in the playoffs, this team defeated some of the toughest opposition this season. They earned a well-deserved reputation for playing hard and never giving up. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the 1999 CIF Los Angeles City Soccer Champions from El Camino High, their coaches, David Hussey and Eric Choi. Where are you? There. And Eric Alvarenga. If you could raise your hand. Great. Miguel Bamaca. Jason Burbage. Victor Choi. Jimmy Choto. Matt Emanuel. Jan Falkenstein. Zach Feldman. Gianni Fascio. Eddie Ibike. Chris Johnstone. Ian Cogan. Jason Lara. Carl Mayer. Kellen McLaughlin. Chris McGovern. Jordan Maida. Mauricio Ocampo. And I also have further, did I leave anyone out? Because I have more names. Yes, okay. Michael Pechenik. Sorry about that, Michael. Jose Rivera Otero. Tony Sengari. Sean Simon. Jeff Soul. And Michael Sperber. I want to congratulate you, both teams. You represent a proud El Camino Real tradition of success in sports and in the classroom. You should be proud. We're proud of you. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to having you here again as CIF champions, and who knows, maybe state and national champions. Good luck and congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to go in the back.
Mr. Wax for an introduction.
Yes, Mr. President, members of council, I'm very pleased this morning that we have a group of younger students who are visiting us today also. We have 47 students from grades 3 to 5 at the Ranchito Avenue School in my district, an extraordinary school. And these young people, I told them when I met with them a little earlier, are probably the most well-behaved group of young people that I've seen in a long time. And it's typical because as I was talking to the students and heard about what they do, they are not your typical 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. They are not only good students on their own, but they are young teachers. In fact, when they get their 3 months off, instead of playing at home and doing the kind of things that all of the rest of us used to do, they go back to school and they tutor the children in kindergarten, in the 1st grade, and the 2nd grade. And the cross-age tutoring that they've been involved in, Ms. Walters tells me, is something that has truly proved to be very, very effective in our school system. They, in fact, are young teachers. They go for an interview, they have to be selected, and then they take their responsibility quite well. And the effectiveness of their relationship with the students in K and 1 and 2 has really been tremendous. So they're helping not only themselves and the other students, but they're certainly helping all of society by being such good citizens. And I wonder if the students and the assistant principal, Sonny Vasquez, who's the moving force behind this, and the volunteers who are here with them would stand and be recognized by the council. We're just delighted you would take the time to come and visit us today in City Hall. You're really terrific young men and women. Thanks a lot for being here.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wax. Mr. Savarnich for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. May I ask the mayor to please join me, the city attorney, the city controller, and colleagues, would you please join me for one moment here at the podium? Yeah. Colleagues, if you'll please join me. Yes, colleagues, if you would please join me here.
I have a presentation by Walters on the route.
Yeah, and Ruth,
Actually, it's
two separate ones, but they're both on public works. First one, Walter's.
Do we have to sing?
Thank you.
We can make John turn this.
I thought he was open.
We thought it was young.
okay, and we'll just wait a moment for the mayor.
He's on the phone. It's already started.
Mr. President, colleagues, today is a very special day that we are about to celebrate in the city of Los Angeles in honor of a gentleman who love of the city is only second to the love of his family. So this morning, it gives us a great deal of pleasure to honor this gentleman and to present the congratulatory resolution. It is a pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, the Honorable Richard J. Riordan. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Rudy. John, my grandfather remembered watching you play football at USC. Said you were the greatest. But, and I apologize for the number of times that Michigan beat USC in the Rose Bowl during that time.
Right on.
But John, I'm very proud to be your friend, and you've been a great leader for a number of years, a great friend, and just a wonderful inspiration to all Angelenos. So a very, very happy 75th birthday.
I didn't realize that, John. You always told me you were 57, but I guess you're a few years older. To just a more beautiful human being you're never going to find. And it takes a certain temperament to be able to lead anybody, especially the city council. And you are a tribute to statesmanship. You're a tribute to fairness. And as your wife says, but you're still nothing but a teddy bear. And big football player that you are. You know, Pasadena knows you. Everybody knows John Ferraro. And I am just very proud to say that, you know, one of the first persons when I first began my political career that endorsed my candidacy was John Ferraro. And we've been friends ever since, and just a great person. And I just think the world of you. I love you, John. Thank you. Happy birthday.
We're obviously all going to do this. I want to start by saying I do not apologize for the number of times Michigan won the Rose Bowl. John, I too want to wish you a happy birthday. And my favorite John Ferraro story is that I actually didn't meet Mr. Ferraro, I think, until the day I walked into the council to be sworn in. And I will always be grateful to you for saying to me, first get better, it'll all still be here when you get after you've recovered. I get weepy whenever I think about it, but I really appreciated that a lot, and you've been taking care of me ever since. So whatever I do, it's all your fault.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. I don't want to make it sound like he's retiring here.
If I were you, I'd call the roll. We might get a unanimous vote.
Let me say, Ruth, that Michigan lost more than it's won in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, but we're coming back.
But I'd like to share this day with Richard Alatorre because his birthday is tomorrow. And
Happy birthday.
That's a special treat. We won't sing again.
And Mike Fears is also today. So Mike, we have three birthdays.
Following in your footsteps.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
The younger Tony.
that happy birthday was the worst rendition I've ever heard. But
We practiced too.
yeah, it sounded like you did a lot of practicing. But I do appreciate your comments and your thank you very much. And we do have some cake for Richard and all of us.
Here's your card.
Is that for UCLA? Here, John, this is... You gotta open it. Oh, I meant UCLA. It gave me the wrong one.
Does that mean we're number 2?
Take that.
Thanks. Let's get this mess started. Call the roll.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Cornish, Wax, Walters, Furrow. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Hernandez moves, Mrs. Miskowski seconds. If there are no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objections, unanimous vote. We do have some more presentations, so let me call upon Mrs. Walters and then Miss Galanter before presentation.
Good morning, council members, Mr. President, and council members. This is a very special day when we have an opportunity to recognize one of our most vital departments that interacts with the public, and that's the Department of Public Works. This is, as chair of the Public Works Committee, it's my pleasure to introduce Public Works Week, and through this resolution declare the week of May 16th through May 22nd as National Public Works Week throughout the city of Los Angeles. In making this declaration, we call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the challenges involved in providing public works facilities and services, and to recognize the contributions that public works officials make every day to our health, safety, and comfort. And those wishing to learn more firsthand about this vital department can call the Public Works Information Officer, Bob Hayes, at 213-473-2300. In the city of Los Angeles, we have some of the finest public works employees in the nation. They have kept our public works systems and programs such as streets, highways, flood control, parks, water, sewers, public building, solid waste collection and disposal, bridges, treatment plants, trees, and other infrastructure facilities in operating order. And most important of all, when called upon, they have come through for us during times of disaster. Public works facilities and projects don't usually produce the media attention given to police work or firefighters. But when these vital services are disturbed, such as during the 1994 earthquake, nothing takes precedence over returning them to their proper order. And Public Works did a fantastic job in 1994 and since then. And it's with pleasure, therefore, that I present Mrs. Ellen Stein, Chair of the City's Board of Public Works, the resolution declaring May 16th through May 22nd as National Public Works Week, and to thank the many who serve in this area on behalf of the citizens of Los Angeles. And I believe Mrs. Stein has some outstanding general managers from the Department of Public Works, and if they would stand as well as she receives this. All right, do you have others over there who are from Public Works?
Well, we do have other people here from Public Works, but
Good.
they're receiving other sources. Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Walters. Honorable President Ferraro, happy birthday again, and to all the honorable council members. We thank you very much for this recognition. We do always try to do our very best for the people of the City of Los Angeles, and Public Works Week is a great way for us to get our message out of as to what we do, but also a chance to recognize the people in the City of Los Angeles who help us do the job that we do. These are volunteers, individuals, different perhaps homeowners groups, and it's a chance for us to recognize them and say thank you on behalf of the Department of Public Works and the people of the City of Los Angeles. So we thank you very, very much for that. We also have as part of Public Works Week, the Bureau of Sanitation, Judy, you want to come on up, is being acknowledged by the American Public Works Association for work on its Lopez Canyon gas retrieval project, while the Bureau of Engineering received 2 accolades for the Hyperion Treatment Plant, Thornton Place low-flow diversion system. The American Public Works Association is an association of public works leaders in Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. And to present these awards to them is Rod Haraga from the Bureau of Engineering.
I guess he wants us closer together.
Good morning, President Ferraro, council members. My name is Rod Haraga. I'm the past president of the American Public Works Association Southern California chapter, and it gives me great pleasure to present these commendations to public works agencies that have won awards for Southern California and throughout the nation. With that, I'd like to present the Thornton Avenue low-flow diversion project, the Hyperion Full Secondary project, and the Lopez Canyon Energy Recovery project to the departments in for the Department of Public Works. So with that, Brad, I think this goes to you. Hyperion Full Secondary and Lopez Canyon.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want a picture?
Thank you very much.
Ms. Galanter? Joel, you ready?
Are you going to do it too? Mr. President and members of the council, we're going to run out of days and weeks pretty soon if we keep them exclusive, because there's so many good things going on in the City of Los Angeles that we have days and weeks all the time. Yesterday was Green Power Day in the City of Los Angeles, and you'll notice that on all your desks we have a souvenir of that, and since Mr. Freeman's lurking in the corner here, I suspect we're going to hear more about it. But I'm here today to present a resolution from all of us to the Bureau of Sanitation and the Board of Public Works declaring tomorrow Hyperion Treatment Plant Day in the City of Los Angeles. And I'm always famous for talking about things like toilets. I want to talk about sewage for a second here. The Hyperion Treatment Plant is actually a triumph of the partnership of public concern and city follow-through. We have finally finished a 15-year, $1.4 billion, that's with a B, design and construction capital improvements program at the Hyperion Sewage Treatment Plant, the biggest one we have, one of the biggest ones you'll find anywhere. And I'm thinking of all these terrible jokes that I better not say in public. The Hyperion Treatment Plant treats an awful lot of sewage. We are a very big metropolitan area, and we put out a lot of the stuff, and this is where it winds up. And this capital improvement program is remarkable for a number of things. It's remarkable for its scope, and it's remarkable because they brought it in on time and on budget. And one day that won't be remarkable at all. And it's also remarkable for the support that this program has received over the years from the public. The public has voted for bond issues. The public has made clear to us in any number of ways how important Santa Monica Bay is to us and how important it is that we as a city deal properly and respectfully with what environment we've got left. And it's my privilege today to present the People, let me back up for a second. People are always saying, tell me, Ms. Galanter, what district do you represent? Well, I have Venice Beach, I have the airport, and I have the Hyperion Sewage Treatment Plant. And I'm very proud of the Hyperion Sewage Treatment Plant because they do the job that needs to be done. It's not a very glamorous job, but it's certainly important. And so I just want to mention to you that discharge into the bay began a very long time ago, and since 1987, Hyperion has reduced the amount of pollutants discharged by 90%, which is pretty spectacular. What that has done is to increase the amount and diversity of the marine life in Santa Monica Bay, which used to be rather nastily affected by the outfall. This program is one of the most aggressive environmental improvement programs conducted anywhere in the country in the second half of the century. As I mentioned, it was completed on time and on budget. Management and labor were able to work together to ensure that this program went smoothly, a good sign. Hyperion this whole program has been supported by environmental leaders since its beginnings, and the best part is it's done. And tomorrow we are going to have a huge celebration of the fact that it's done and that everybody is very proud of it and it does good work. And so tomorrow will be officially Hyperion Treatment Plant Day in the city of Los Angeles. I call on everybody to help us celebrate, and I want to present this resolution declaring it Hyperion Treatment Plant Day to Ellen Stein of the Board of Public Works and various people involved in making the plant run. With my congratulations.
Thank you. We are all, again, delighted, and we thank Councilwoman Galanter very much for this. We're very excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow is truly a wonderfully remarkable story. As the Councilwoman said, this was a bond measure. The voters approved $2.4 billion to be devoted to this entire project. It was to cover 10 years. We got the project done in just 2 months under that 10 years and at a cost of $1.6 billion. So that is a huge win for the people of the city of Los Angeles. It is also a win for the environment, and it is a win for the people who live in the area who are entitled to clean water, to good clean beaches, and to the people who come here from all over the country, all over the world, and hear about our beaches. We feel that this is something that they are entitled to have in the best condition possible. So we are delighted, and again, we hope that you will all join us tomorrow. It promises to be a really wonderful and fun day at the treatment plant. So I thank you all very much, and I want to just add on another award, if you don't mind. Each year during National Engineers Week, an award is presented by the Los Angeles Council of Engineers and Scientists for the Outstanding Engineering Project of the Year. And this year, I'm delighted to say that Public Works was honored to receive the Project of the Year for completion of the Hyperion Full Secondary Project. On the eve of our major dedication ceremony tomorrow, we have a great opportunity for all of us in Public Works to share this distinction with the mayor and the city council, and to recognize several bureau managers who were instrumental in designing, building, and operating the treatment plant, as well as inspecting the construction as it was going on. So I would like to introduce to you and let them get a plaque, the Director of the Bureau of Sanitation. I don't know if you're getting the right one. Judy Wilson. Bernard Gilpin, the Chief Inspector of Public Works. I'm going to do that to you. Okay, and we have the Deputy City Engineer Brad Smith accepting for the City Engineer today, and to you also, congratulations. So we thank all of you, and again, we hope you're going to join us tomorrow. Thank you.
Does everybody know where Hyperion is? If anybody wants to, this is all open to the public too, right? It's way at the end of Imperial Highway. You take the 105, keep on going, it goes right almost to the beach, and you really can't miss the sewage treatment plant. So come on out.
Thank you, Ms. Galanter. Mr. Hernandez for a presentation? For what?
All of us are back there. All of you.
Yeah, Richard and Jackie. Mr. President, members of council, I have two presentations to make, and I'd like to call up on Councilmember Goldberg, and Councilmember Elatori, if they want to join me with this. I am also expecting my Chief of Staff, Ed Reyes, Mr. President, members of the council, today we have a group of citizens that we wanted to recognize that is known as the Northeast CPAC, the Northeast Community Planning Council. And I'd like them all to come up if they don't mind. They're already headed this way. If Mr. Burnson was here, he would say he takes the credit for the updating of a lot of community plans. And I'm not sure how much of that credit he wants to take when it takes us 10 years to get the work done. And the reality, the reason I'm playing, I think, a lead role in this recognition right now, and I know that Councilmember Goldberg and Councilmember Elatori want to do it, is when this committee was put together, I was not a city councilman. What I was at the time was a local citizen that was appointed to sit on this committee by then Councilmember Gloria Molina. And Councilman Elatori had made appointments, then Councilman Mike Wu had made appointments, and Councilmember John Ferraro had made appointments. And the committee started a process of getting educated as to how planning works in the city of Los Angeles. Since then, they've probably seen 3 or 4 different shapes of a planning commission. Basically, 2 permanent directors of the Department of Planning, but also interim director of the Department of Planning. A project that has had different planners from the planning department assigned to it and different consultants, and it's gone back and forth. But the citizens who participated in the process were very much consistent. And the communities that were part of this process were very much consistent. John Hizarek, the president of the CPAC committee, is still its president. You need to know he beat me in the election. I was running too, and he won. It's a good thing he wasn't from the 1st Council District. And I know the vice president, that's where I first met him, Phil Barbo, and I've met him on other occasions fighting for the Little League and other issues, but the reality is I had a chance to meet a lot of these people. I just wanted to give you a little history because what's going to be happening fairly soon, hopefully next week, before this council, is going to be the Northeast Community Plan coming before us. And it's something I wanted to make sure, I think Councilman Elatori, Councilmember Goldberg wanted to make sure it was in place, because these community plans make tremendous differences. And what we deal with from a planning perspective in our communities that are really the oldest communities of the city have already been built out. When I sit on Plum, and what I see coming before us is when the issues of our community, they tend to be nuisance abatement issues. As compared to other parts of the city where they're quality of life issues in terms of how you use the land. People fighting for more open space. People fighting difficult decisions. Do you put a school or in a residential neighborhood? Whereas in our neighborhoods, it's already built out, and it's just an issue trying to get someone to focus on the need for open space, and an issue on trying to get people to focus on the need for schools in areas where our children and our populations are tremendously dense. Areas where the zoning has already been predetermined, and allowing the community a voice in that process has been extremely important. One of the reasons I have a problem with charter reform is it creates 5 planning areas, and very few people don't understand what that means. From my perspective, it means in those neighborhoods that you have clear boundaries between industrial and commercial and residential. They're going to be able to fight for the continued quality of life there. And in neighborhoods where you have mixed use and the kinds of industries that you don't no longer want or are detrimental to the environment, that's going to be the areas where they can't go. And so the battles are going to continue to be tremendous. And it's because we are decentralizing government, but we're actually compounding the compression effect of the importance of the issues that our neighborhoods are going to be fighting for. And that's why this community is extremely important, because it's representative of those neighborhoods. And regardless of who the planning commissions are, regardless of who the elected officials are, they're the ones who are going to live there, and they're the ones who are going to continue to fight. And so before we present each and every one of you a certificate for your role in the work of the CPAC, I'd like to have my colleagues say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mike. As a person that was involved from the very beginning, you know, I think that what we were able to demonstrate and what the men and women of the CPAC were able to demonstrate was an ability to come from different areas and to be able to reach compromise. And there were some very difficult times, but the commitment that every one of the men and women shared never wavered. All that they wanted was what was in the best interest of the respective communities that they represented. That's what they fought for. It was never that we had to worry about participation, because we always participated. It's many times we were continuously seeing new individuals come in and having the educational process have to take place, not from the standpoint of the community, but the community had to educate the staff of the Planning Commission as to what the issues that they fought for, that they championed, ultimately took place. And let me just tell you something, is that, you know, this CPAC proved that residents of communities that fiercely believe in the integrity of the respective communities, that fiercely believe in the integrity of the concept of district and of community, they showed and they demonstrated that it can work. And I know there were times where they wondered whether the elected representatives were going to stand and be on their side when they fought the difficult issues. And I made it very clear from the very beginning that, you know, they were the ones that were there to help us. And I don't believe there was a time when all of us, starting with Gloria Molina, with Mike Wu, with Mike Hernandez, with Jackie Goldberg, myself, and John Ferraro, that they ever had a problem of us being there as not only their representatives on the city council, but advocating for what they worked so many hours and fought for so many hours to accomplish. And it truly is, I'm very proud of the work that they did. And let me introduce Jackie Goldberg.
Thank you. Well, you know, when a lot of these people came and took on this task, they didn't realize it was a lifetime commitment. They thought, oh, a couple of years in and out, we'll be done with this thing. I've checked. There were children born and grandchildren born during this same period to some of these folks. Some folks did come and go, but basically it's been the same group fundamentally for 10 years. The group worked tirelessly, and remember, this is purely as volunteers. I want to make sure everybody understands that, because a lot of people at home who see this think, well, so they prolong the job so they can keep getting paid. Right, right. They hung on, frankly, in spite of family and professional obligations tugging at them through thick and thin. The Northeast Planning Area is larger than the entire city of Pasadena. So when you understand, they were dealing with a large area which has several really distinct communities and many distinct neighborhoods. And I think the important message of this process from my point of view is that we cannot have a cookie-cutter approach, one size fits all, to planning issues. And that's why this process was so important, because it is an area that, though it's all called Northeast LA, it involves very different types of communities and neighborhoods. We need to instead push the envelope and find creative ways to preserve the unique qualities of Los Angeles, which attract people to live and work in communities that are in the Northeast. I want to personally thank John Hisserick for the leadership that you have provided, and to all of the CPAC members because I think it's really an awesome job that you have performed for this city. You were vigilant, you were committed, you were innovative. This group is the group that came up with the idea of a community design overlay district, which I think other council districts are already exploring how to use in their own districts. In the planning department, I want to thank Con Howe, Bob Sutton, David Gay, Terry Speth, Jimmy Anguiano, retired principal planners, that's how long this went on, Bob Rogers and Dave Leslie, and then too many other staffers. We tried to get the list, but it would be endless. Too many other staffers to mention all. I hope we will learn from this 10-year period that we can find effective ways to have strong community participation in planning process. And I hope the planning department identifies ways to continue to involve this CPAC as they implement the plan in Northeast area. Above all, I still want to thank CPAC again for your generous time and talent, and to tell you that now that you don't have to meet every month, I hope you'll reintroduce yourself to your families and to your neighbors and loved ones, and to know that this city and I personally am very grateful for your efforts.
Thank you.
Mr. President, we're going to ask Mr. Hisrick to say a few words after we quickly present these certificates. And I'd like to also recognize the work of Bob Rogers, but also Terry Speth, as well as Jimmy Anguiano. Those are names that consistently came up from these community representatives as people who were doing some excellent work on behalf of the city, working with them. And some of the people who aren't here, you'll also recognize names like Lou Santillan, Mauro Garcia, Larry Hatler, who used to be my chief of staff, Frank Medina, Tom McHenry, Andrea Moran, Francis Thorson, Yolanda Dennis, Gary Wilmer, Eric Ludwig, Chris Hershey. These were all people who participated and are not here, but we wanted to mention their names. One of the appointees who's present from the 1st Councilmatic District, who I met at the CPAC committee, then came to work with the City of Los Angeles, made a tremendous difference, and has since retired from the City of Los Angeles. But I think you all know him, and I'd like to recognize Daniel Falcon.
Appreciate it. Councilmember, just thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back and to come for this with a group of people that really, when you talk about family being born, and birthdays, today's my daughter's birthday, and she wasn't born when this process started. She's 8 years old today. So we used to joke that she would come and vote for me.
Someone else who is, again, was appointee from the 1st District that you all know and seen here advocating on behalf of survivors of AIDS and people working with that issue, Ms. Mickey Jackson. Mickey?
You know, it was really something to work with virtually the same group of core people for 10 years. The spirit of this group, I've worked with many groups, was so cohesive. It was a group of people that really got along very well and liked each other a lot. And there was a sense that the focus was on solving the problems out there and not having problems in here, and getting to know and appreciate many of the city staff. It has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in doing a lot of advocacy and work, and I'm just really grateful for the privilege.
And again, also who served but is not present, someone who you know as a historic person, works on historic preservation, particularly in Lincoln Heights, Mr. Mike Diaz. Someone who was appointed by Gloria Molina to serve as an advocate for child care, Lucia Rivera. You might remember her as a previous candidate for the school board. And again, those were the representatives of Council District Number 1.
I'll call on save John Hisrick for the end. But to Phil Barbaro, a lawyer and person that moved in, I think he had just moved in the district, or moved into his present house when this entire program started, and probably could move to 4 other houses, I mean, at the rate that it was going, but Phil was very dedicated, and I thank you for the work and the hours you put in.
Thank you very much.
To an employee of the city of Los Angeles, and she's changed a few departments since then, and has had 5 children. No, I'm just kidding. No. But just no, I know. But just to a beautiful woman that really gave a lot of her time and her expertise, Lupe Vela. Lupe.
I just want to thank Councilman Alatorre for giving me the opportunity to be on this committee. I had actually just moved into the area. I grew up in El Sereno, but Eagle Rock has been a wonderful community, and I really thank the councilman for giving me that opportunity, so thank you very much.
An extremely talented woman, great representative of historic preservation and the arts, Diana Barnwell. Diana.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Just to add with what has already been said, and remarking on the amount of time that this took, when we were discussing this among ourselves at one time, I said that when I started, my hair was short and brown. This is an enormous privilege, and what excites me tremendously, and I think my colleagues as well, is how our work is going to be carried forward through the charter changes and through the commitment of not only ourselves, but the people in other communities with whom we hope to work, advise, and take care of our beautiful city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
And to Joseph Stevens. Joseph. Timothy Sanders. Timothy, that here. And to the person that, great, not only a true employee, but a great alumnus of USC and represents USC in the greatest tradition in the health center, the health arena, the chairman of the CPAC, John Hisserik. John.
Thank you, Mr. Alatorre. I do want to extend the thanks of the entire CPAC. I've had the privilege of chairing for the last few years, to the other members of the council who've supported us so well throughout this process, and certainly to those members of the staff of the planning department, Mr. Rogers, of good memory, Terry and Jimmy and all the others who've worked with us. You know, when I was chosen as chairperson after a tough battle with Mike, I didn't quite know how to do this and how to chair this, so I tuned in Channel 35 and watched Councilman Ferraro, who happens to be my councilman, actually, and I think he went to USC as well, and took a few lessons in how to run it, and it's fitting that we're here on his birthday. Thank you for all of your guidance, as well as to you council members, and certainly to my colleagues on the CPAC. We've had a good time together, and we plan to continue to care for Northeast with the attention and the care that it deserves. Thank you very much.
What? Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Just without this day wouldn't be complete. I think the members would agree that one of our members, if there was an MVP of the CPAC, it would be Tim Sanders, and I didn't want this day to go by. He's the one who came up with the Community Design Overlay District when planning thought that we were a little bit off our rockers coming up with that concept, but he believed in it, he got us to believe in it, and he led us all the way. So when Tim said that the plan looked good and he analyzed it, he's a professor from Occidental College, former physics professor, so we had someone running interference for us. When he believed in it, we believed in it, and this plan is what it is thanks to Tim. Unfortunately, he's out of town today, but I wanted to be sure that we acknowledged him today. Thank you.
From CD13 is Robert McTavish, who is a business owner and who is a long-term member of the Atwater community and did a great job on it. We thank you very much, Robert. Thank you. And Ann Lawson, who works for the Housing Authority but is a longtime part of the Residents Association of Atwater and has really, I think, crystallized a lot of the issues that community had on the CPAC, and we appreciate your involvement too. Thank you.
I just wish to thank Councilmember Goldberg for appointing me to this commission, or this committee. It was really a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there anybody left in the northeast area that needs a resolution?
Yeah, we're giving you one. I have one more presentation, if I could, Mr. President, and thank you for allowing us to acknowledge some tremendous work. And we talked about the CPAC committee is something that was almost a 10-year process. Before everybody leaves, I just wanted to take advantage of recognizing one of my employees, and we wanted to do it today. He has his 10-year pin. Now, the reason that's symbolic is in my office, that makes him the senior member working for the city of Los Angeles. And I'd like to recognize my chief of staff, Ed Reyes. But just to share a little quick history about Ed that a lot of people don't know, in 1977, he was selected as the Student Youth of the Year by then Mayor Tom Bradley on behalf of the city of Los Angeles. And as a graduate student, he was an intern for the CLA's office under Ken Spiker. He became an associate planner for the city of Los Angeles in 1989. He started on February 16th, 1989, but took a 3-month leave to basically work on my campaign. But what he did is, we called him our technician on the campaign when I was running for city council, because he had to deal with the planning issues and try and get me to understand them at a time when the Mount Washington Association was working on its specific plan. And we found out what planning was really about, and that was part of my foundation when I got elected to council, and that's why I asked so many land use questions, and really equity in terms of resources. But Ed had a lot to do with that. Very few people know that as an associate planner, he was at the council liaison, working with the assistant general manager then, Melanie Fallon. Now that's been elevated to basically a position where we all know Gordon, but that was Ed's role back in those days. And he did that under Ken Topping. And then he was my chief planner, but also my chief in charge of economic development, and now he's my chief of staff. And I just wanted to recognize Ed for his tremendous contributions to the city, and the fact that there's only one other person I think on my staff with more time on the city, and that's Gladys Sidnick, who's my administrative assistant. But I have a young staff, a fighting staff, sometimes an angry staff, but they're doing a tremendous job, and Ed's the guy in charge of all of them. Again, thank you for allowing me to recognize him.
First of all, I want to express my gratitude to Mike and the council for taking this time. I know there are a lot of employees that spend 10 years here, and they are the unsung heroes that work on all the departments, and I feel privileged to be before you. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank my parents, my wife Martha, and my children Natalie, Eddie, Adam, and Angel for giving me the opportunity to serve my community. I want to express my gratitude to my staff, our staff, both past and present. We've been through a lot of wars together, but we're here now, and we have 2 years left, and I just hope they don't go as fast as these past 10 years. But thank you very much.
Okay. Mike, are you finished?
I'm done, Mr. President.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Holden for a presentation.
Mr. President, members, the honor today is for me.
I think this is the last one.
Although we're giving recognition to a young man, his name is Mark Chambers. But it's an honor for me because today we have the opinion of a teenager that when you say teenager, you say problem. Now we know that's not the case in every case. In some cases, and too often that is the case. But today, Mr. President, members, we have a young man who happens to be a teenager, but a model citizen for our community and has so been recognized. With that, Mr. President, I'm calling Mark Chambers up to the podium with me to join me, and his mother, Mrs. Chambers. How you doing, Mark? Thank you. You look good, too. Mark is a native of Los Angeles. He's so young. Everybody his age was born here, I'm sure. And he's a recipient for the 10th District 1999 Outstanding Youth Volunteer Award. I mean, outstanding, that's right. Mark volunteered over 300 hours to the Queen Anne Recreation Center and is now a part-time employee for the City of Los Angeles Recreation Parks. Mark is also a basketball coach for the Biddies for Queen Anne. Those little ones, huh? All right. In 1998, Mark's commitment and diligence afforded him the honor of receiving an Excellent Leadership Award from the City of Los Angeles Recreation Parks Department. Mark's goals are to attend Cal State University at Northridge to receive his degree in leisure studies. Show me how to rest. Mark would like to become a cruise line activities director and ultimately become a director for the City of Los Angeles Rec and Park. It's indeed my pleasure, Mr. President, members, to acknowledge and to present to you Mark Chambers. Just so happens that, did you know about this? He's going to get a birthday certificate also. You're in good company. The president of the council was so honored today. You know, he's 75, but you let him know you're right on his heels. Not that in age, but the birthday. So I'm going to present this birthday certificate to you and thank you for all your years of service, and hours of volunteerism to the City of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm like a little nervous, so don't mind me. I didn't know about the birthday greeting and everything, and I'm very happy to be here and amongst all these people and everything, and I just want to say thank you one more time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Holden, I think we're going to get on the agenda now. Okay. The next item.
Item number 10 on the regular agenda, request to withdraw and send to the Public Safety Committee.
If there's no objections, that will be the order.
Items number 9 and 18, request to receive and file.
Is there any objections to that?
9 and 18?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you going to do with 18?
Receive and file.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Mr. Alatorre, we're going to take item number 1, the budget. Anybody in the chamber that wants to be heard on the budget? Seeing none, we'll continue the hearing
Exactly. I would
until Monday.
comment until Monday at 10 a.m. Is that correct, Mr. President?
Yes.
All right.
Again, let me remind my colleagues that there will be a special meeting on the budget Monday at 10 a.m. with cannolis. Next item.
Item number 2 on the public hearing item.
Is there anybody in the chamber wants to be heard on item number 2? Anybody want to be heard? Seeing none, we'll continue this hearing until June 4th. If there's no objections, that will be the order. Next item.
Items number 3 to 5 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay, 4, we have two recommendations on item 4, so we'll call that special. 3 and 5, is there any specials there? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Items number 16 through 14, with the exception of 9 and 10.
9 and, okay, we have cards on 11, 12, and 14. We'll call those special. Anybody want to be heard on any of the other items? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any specials by council members? 6, 7, 8, and 13. If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Item number 17, item for public hearing.
We do have somebody that wants to be heard on 17. Robert McNeil. Robert McNeil on 17.
Yes, I'm here.
You want to be heard?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Members of the council, this is in Mr. Ridley Thomas's district, and I don't know if we've gotten a recommendation.
A public hearing in Planning and Land Use Management Committee, and I got word from Mr. Ridley Thomas's office that they would like us to proceed. He was deferred. He had a funeral this morning, and was going to try to get here.
Okay. Okay, then the recommendation is to approve.
This is a nuisance abatement revocation hearing, and it is a second hearing on actually revoking the conditional use for alcoholic sales at this location. We also have the police department here who testified at the land use committee.
Okay, well, Mr. McNeil, you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, yes, Mr. President.
You can call me anything you want.
Say when.
A plum report that was submitted. I think it's probably your
All right, thank you. Good morning, President of the City Council and honorable members of the council. My name is Robert McNeil. I'm an attorney, and I represent Mr. Jimmy Young Park, who is the owner of Benji's Market at 3901 South Vermont. Mr. Park has been in business at that location for more than 10 years. The actual market and liquor store has been there about 35 years. Mr. Park is not here today because he was here this morning early but took sick about a half hour ago and had to leave. The points that we want to make here is that Mr. Park feels that his store on Vermont Avenue, right across from the Coliseum, has been singled out, and a concerted effort has been made by certain individuals in the council district of Mark Ridley Thomas's offices to close him down. And he believes that to concentrate on his store like that is a violation of his equal protection rights and also a violation of his due process rights under the federal and state constitutions. Now, this started way back in November of 1992 when Benji's Market was on a list established by someone in the city of Los Angeles by the name of Albert Landini. And it was 32 liquor stores located in South Central Los Angeles proposed for revocation. And Mr. Landini wrote, I've got the list of 32 stores, but I am hesitant to proceed with revocation actions because I don't have any documentation of the problems with these stores. The next thing that happened here is we get a letter from the LAPD on June 1993 requesting that the zoning administrator begin revocation actions against Benji's Market. On July 6, 1994, the city commences nuisance proceedings against Benji's and imposes some 21 conditions. It's important that we point out that when the hearing was held, it was found that Benji's had made a good faith effort to comply with the proposed conditions, imposed conditions, and also On January 1995, the zoning administrator found that Benji's Market was in substantial compliance with the conditions imposed in 1994, and that the prior public nuisance and disturbances decreased and reduced the number of conditions down to 18 from 21. So Benji's was allowed to continue operating, but apparently the people weren't satisfied who wanted to have Benji's closed down. So in December of 1997, the Los Angeles Police Department was sent out there 14 times, 7 times in 1997, that is in December of 1997, 1 month, and then 5 times in 1998. The Los Angeles Police Department being sent to one particular store, Benji's, to try to see if they could find Benji's in violation. On June 6, 1998, 2 police officers went to Benji's and inspected the store and found no violations, and Mr. Park advised the zoning administrator of this. But on August 1998, 2 months later, they sent 2 more police officers out there from the LAPD. They conducted an inspection, and they noted some improvements in the property, but also that they found some violations. We submit that those violations that they did find at that time, this is August 1998, were things that Benji's Market could not control. For instance, that someone was out drinking from a bottle in a brown paper bag that the police said appeared to be a soft drink. There's nothing that Benji's could do about that. They found somebody loitering in the parking lot and in front of the store. There's very little that Benji's could do about that as well. They found graffiti on a chain link fence and on a billboard attached to the south side of the building. And the police said they found several items for sale that could be used for narcotics paraphernalia. But as the committee for the city council concluded the other day, that none of those items were illegal and could not be sold in a store. Members of the council, we submit that the evidence before the zoning administrator and the zoning commission and the committee constitutes insufficient grounds to take away a man's livelihood. This store at 3901 was purchased for $750,000 by Mr. Park. He's operated for 10 years. Only this recent concentrated effort by the LAPD and Councilman Ridley Thomas's office to close him down has resulted in these numerous hearings that we've had. Mr. Park has a vested right and should be allowed to continue the operation. We believe that it's unfair to single out small...
All right, Mr. McNeil, we have other business on the books.
No, I understand, and thank you. I'm almost finished. The owner of the property, Mr. Choi, has filed a declaration that he wants that store to continue. He said that the Community Redevelopment Agency is in the process of buying all of his property, which includes Benji's. We believe that Benji's should be compensated for the value of that property. If they're going to close him down, he should not have to walk away empty-handed. Members of the council, if you take away his right to sell alcoholic beverages off-site, he essentially has to close. He can't pay his rent. His 2 daughters in college have to stop. This man has no livelihood and no place to make a living. And therefore, we ask for your reconsideration despite the opposition from Councilman Ridley Thomas. And thank you very much.
All right, thank you. The public hearing is closed. Ms. Sikowski?
Mr. President, I think it might be appropriate to have the zoning administrator from the planning department as well as the police department come forward and provide just some of the testimony and the summary of the case that was
Okay,
given to
while
them.
we're waiting for that, Mrs. Walters, you have an introduction?
Mr. President, there's just one point. I want to ask that if the council sustains the committee's findings and all that, Mr. Park asked for 60 days to get his affairs in order so he can, get rid of his stock and all that before he has to close down.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mrs. Walters?
There's another group of students here this morning, council members, and it's my pleasure to introduce them. They're from the Manual Arts Community Education Center, and I'd ask them to stand. They're here to observe the council with their teacher, Mr. Christopher Uchimifuna. I hope I pronounced that correctly, or someplace in the ballpark. And Ms. Honore. So thank you very much for coming, and we trust that this session will be informative to you and come back again.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters. Okay, you want to make a presentation here?
President, members of the council, Emily Gable-Luddy. I was the zoning administrator of record on this last hearing. I'd like to just give the council a brief context here. This was the third hearing regarding the site at 3901 South Vermont. The first was held in 1994, and a determination was issued at that time that there was evidence that this operation had constituted a nuisance in the community, and a determination was reached to impose additional conditions on the building's operation. The applicant did file for a plan review in 1995, as was required by that initial determination, and at that second hearing and subsequently, the zoning administrator had found indeed that things had improved. Between 1995 and 1998, however, additional information was received by our office substantiating that, in fact, there was evidence of loitering, drinking adjacent to an ABC location, and drinking in public, and other violations of the conditional use. And as a result, our office initiated a further hearing on this that was held April 1998. In particular, I'd like to point out to the committee that among the violations, and I think the police officers can go into this in greater detail, there were 3 violations for sales to underage persons, sales to minors of an alcoholic beverage within the store itself. And 2 of those resulted in fines of the owner, and more recently in 1998, ABC suspended the license for 30 days. When I heard this case, I did determine that some of these conditions indeed could be found in compliance. In particular, that signs in their wording were not exactly what the determination said, but they were sufficient to advise persons of what was intended by that condition. That the rooftop address itself may have in fact have been washed away by the El Nino storms at the time, and the applicant or the store owner did give me documentation that indicated that he had had repairs done to the roof within the time in question. The particularly troubling ones, however, were the continued maintenance of the facility, and our staff report, as well as subsequent observations, indicated there was graffiti and that it was not consistently removed, but it was in fact consistently observed on the site. And then finally, that the security guard, which was at issue, was not present. My hearing indicated there was conflicting testimony about the presence of a security guard, and while I did ask at the close of that hearing for documentation of security guards employed as required by the conditions of the prior zoning administrator, I never received any credible documentation regarding this. I believe that between the records that were reviewed, and the BZA agreed with this, as well as the absence of any proof of a guard on the site, that there was a nexus between the continued documented incidents of loitering, drinking adjacent to an ABC location, and drinking in public. I would note for the council that our records indicate that these occurrences happened after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the very time the security guard was to come on the site. The site has a parking lot as well, where the visible presence of a guard would be helpful in removing loiterers from the property, and I think under the circumstances that the proper findings were made and the proper conclusion reached in this particular case.
No. Okay. Did you want to say anything?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and other council members. I'm Captain Ronald Yutzi, the commanding officer for Southwest Operations Support Division. We believe that there has been ample time provided for the particular corrections to be made. And however, as of this time, we still seem to be having a problem at this location. We have the last incident occurred in April of this year of 1999, where again, a minor was sold alcohol. I have with me Sergeant Matthew McWillie, who is our vice officer, who has been in that position since 1994 and is very familiar with this particular location.
Thank you, Captain. Good.
Mr. President and members of the council, my name is Matthew McWillie. I'm the officer in charge of the Southwest Vice Unit. There's been substantial vice-related activity at Benji's Market located at 3901 South Vermont Avenue over a several-year period. Yes. On February 5th, 1996, the Southwest Vice officers conducted an operation, a decoy operation, and they arrested an employee at Benji's Market for sales of alcohol to a minor. On December 6, 7, 16, 17, 18, 19, 27, 28, and 29, 1997, and again on January 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, and 1998, undercover Southwest Vice officers determined that there was no uniformed security guard on duty after 3 p.m. That was a violation of their zoning condition number 5. On those same dates, graffiti was observed on the south and east walls of the establishment. The graffiti remained on the walls from December 6, 1997 through January 19, 1998, which was a violation of zoning condition number 11. Southwest Vice officers observed trash, debris, and weeds on the ground in the parking lot over several dates during the above time period. In each observation, these items remained on the ground more than one day, which was also a violation of condition number 12. On December 27, 1997, Southwest Vice officers surveilled the establishment for 30 minutes. During the 30 minutes, 5 persons were observed loitering in front of the location, and at no time were they asked to leave. One of the 5 persons urinated on the southeast corner of the establishment. Additional, no security guard was observed, which was in violation of their zoning conditions. Again, on February 21st, 1997, the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, ABC, they fined the establishment $3,000 in lieu of a 15-day suspension for sales of alcohol to minor. On January 31st, 1998, Southwest Vice officers conducted another decoy operation and arrested an employee at Benji's Market for sales of alcohol to minor. On February 8th, 1998, Southwest Patrol officers arrested 2 individuals in front of the establishment for drinking alcohol adjacent to an alcoholic beverage control establishment. And there's been other substantial activity over the course of 1998, and here on April 23rd, 1999, which was just a little over 3 weeks ago, Southwest Vice officers conducted an underage decoy operation and arrested the owner, Mr. Park, of the establishment for sales of alcohol to a minor. It's a continual problem, nuisance problem. It's been so for many, many years, and it's the position of the Los Angeles Police Department Southwest area that we support the Office of Zoning Administration in the revocation of the conditional use permit.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sikowski?
Mr. President, the Planning and Land Use Management Committee did hold a hearing on this, and the 3 members did vote to support the action of the zoning administrator and the Board of Zoning Appeals in revoking the conditional use for the alcoholic beverage sale. It does not close down the market. The market is allowed in the C2 zone. It can continue. All that it loses is its privilege to sell alcoholic beverage based on the testimony and the investigations done both by the Planning Department and the Police Department, and the cumulative information based on the history of this location through a number of hearings in the Planning Department and a number of on-site inspections by the Police Department. So based on that, based also on the testimony by Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas, who came to the committee and asked for support of this revocation action, the committee did unanimously recommend it, and I've been informed by Mr. Ridley Thomas's staff today that they would like the matter to go forward and have the council act on that committee report.
When would this be effective?
It would be effective immediately, and it doesn't, again, the market can stay there, so the only thing that needs to be removed is the liquor and the cessation of the sale of liquor at this establishment.
Okay. Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in Mr. Ridley Thomas' absence to support this revocation of this business. We have joined together in our respective districts in trying to rid our districts of these horrible nuisances. Other neighborhoods don't have to put up with this, but somehow it's allowed in our council districts, and it is beyond the pale. And I appreciate the work that the police department, the planning department have done on this, and they've done, in my district, they've worked closely with us in the same way. These violations seem to me to be egregious. I noticed that the attorney for the market said that he couldn't help it if somebody went away from there drinking something in a paper bag. I think owners do set the tone for their businesses and what is allowed in their businesses, around their businesses, and away from their businesses within some reasonable distance. Now, I just introduced a group of students from Manual Arts High School. Manual Arts is probably within a block or two of this particular location. And there's also an elementary school over on Menlo where the children would need to traverse Vermont in front of this store to come to those schools. And I think that these things need to be stopped. They need to be closed down, and it can't be fast enough. So I certainly urge council members that we vote unanimously to revoke this license to operate liquor sales immediately. You know how hard it is to get the state ABC to issue non-compliance orders and to surveil and catch these folks selling alcohol to youngsters. It's terrible. It's a very hard job, and I again want to say thanks to the department for the undercover surveillance, for the documentation that you have brought forward here on this particular market, and I say we need to close it unanimously now.
Okay. No, the public hearing is closed, Mr. McNeil. Okay, we have item number 17 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Okay, the next item.
Item number 11.
Let's take item number 11. We do have somebody who wants to be heard from Santa Monica. Brian Hutchins. Do you want to be heard or not? Well, you better hurry because I'm going to close the public hearing.
Okay. Now, I didn't have time to write up about the Rand Corporation and the new city manager of Santa Monica, who's kind of a de facto green. But I'll just read my prepared statement here. Dear Honorable Councilors, I'm very sorry for this belated attack upon Green E, but I just heard Mr. Freeman peddling his program on the radio and in the paper. This is closely similar to, if not the same as Santa Monica's program, which has already gone into effect with Commonwealth Energy Company, which I had attacked 3 times at council before Ralph Nader also called it a scam. It was fairly clear from the entire council's vote for Green E, as well as from the general tenor of the campaigns and the media thereof, that the local tourist establishment are happy to have a de facto Green E government, or what I refer to as the Teal Party, the hard teal supermajority, or so uncharitably, the Green Shirts. As you know, council has declared 2 declared Greens in it, with backing from mandate forfeited Santa Monicans for renters' rights and a peculiar assist from the police and fire associations. What is the problem? Although it may not yet be a fait accompli, if either Bush or Gore are elected, it probably will be. That is, ratification of the Kyoto Protocols on glasshouse gas emission would be done,
All right,
And
thank
all
you.
of the pandering from the privateers of e-deregulation will be heard as the hollow ghost of its chairman.
All right, thank
Why?
you, Brian, miss, we appreciate that, but, I think you should talk to your Santa Monica council more than you talk to the city.
Are you kidding? I'm talking about the very same program that they
yeah.
passed.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say that this resolution is about green power, not about the Green Party.
Yeah.
Green E program, that's right. This is the core of it right here.
Okay, well,
Because-
we got your message, thank you.
Sir, I've got one more paragraph here. Because Gore is a hardcore green, in spite of his temperance under Clinton, and because Bush is so close to the consolidating oil industry, whose shareholders will be the fabulous beneficiaries of mandated draconian price fixing under the Kyoto Protocols. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I can imagine you saying that to Santa Monica, and they'd appreciate it more. Thank you very much.
didn't
The public-
appreciate it.
the
They
public
passed it
hear-
unanimously.
The public hearing is closed. All right, Ms. Galanter.
I wasn't finished.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is as I mentioned earlier this morning, yesterday, the city officially launched, the Department of Water and Power officially launched a green power program. Yeah, I got a little distracted over here, too. Does anybody mind if, I'll just wait. Is that it? Well, they did very well. Congratulations to all of you. We've launched a program to try to replace the sources of power generation that use fossil fuels and that are a problem for the environment with new generation sources that will allow us to use renewable resources, sunlight, wind, and hydropower to the extent that we can find it. It's not local. And geothermal. In order to pay for this program, we're basically launching a voluntary investment program in which individual customers of the department can voluntarily agree to not reduce the rates they pay for electricity, but instead to, even though other people's rates may be reduced, instead to continue to pay a slightly higher rate, in exchange for which they will receive assistance with lowering their usage so that their bills may turn out to be just the same as they were or even lower. And at the same time, the department will accumulate new resources to use for investment in renewable power generation. It seems to me that if we're going to launch this program and ask our individual ratepayers and our businesses in town to participate, it makes very good sense for the city itself to participate. And the resolution before you simply asks that the CLA and CAO come back to us in, I think we said 45 days, with a report on how the city can effectively become
60
our own-
days.
60 days, our own customer, and take the lead not only in announcing and operating the program, but in participating in it. So I would ask for your support.
Do we want the Green Power hat to say something, David? We're talking about...
It's your choice, John.
Ms. Galanter, we're talking about 11 and 14. Okay. David, you want to say something? Anybody that wears a green hat should have the opportunity to say
I
something.
should tell you with respect to 14 that I already gave him the resolution.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Then we have 11 and 14 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Ms. Goldberg, can we continue 12 until Tuesday? It's just asked for a report by, in your committee by the 26th.
The only thing is, I hope that they get
Get the
this
message.
time,
Yeah.
because that's the only problem, is we
Yeah.
want to make sure they have enough time to get the report to us.
Yeah. I think that we'll have somebody from the city clerk's office call them and tell them that this is going to be on Tuesday.
That's the only urgency,
Okay.
it was just to give them notice. I don't like to ask for information from people without giving them time to prepare it.
Okay, we'll continue until Tuesday.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 4. We have item number 4 before us now. There are two, why don't we continue item 4 until Monday, because this is, there's two committee reports, and this is Mr. Bernson's committee, and Mr. Bernson's district. Is there any objections to continuing 4 until Tuesday? Seeing none, that will be the order. Okay, what's the next item?
We have special number 1.
Okay, we have special number 1. Could you, city at,
On May 7th, the City Council discussed and adopted a Public Safety Committee report on amendments relative to the Fire Department brush clearance program. During the discussion, they discussed the condominium fees, but the motion did not include that, and they would like to send the letter out today if possible so that they can get it going. So the motion is to establish a billing policy whereby condominium associations are billed a single $13 inspection fee and given the option to conduct a self-inspection of the property. And therefore, the council need to make the findings that the need to act arose after the posting of the agenda and that there is an immediate need to act.
Okay, let's vote on the findings first. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Now, Ms. Sakowski?
Mr. President, this was an inadvertent omission from the council council report of last on May 7th. It was understood by the fire department and the chair of Public Safety Committee, Ms. Chick, to indicate that this was to be part of the new process of sending out the letter and the information to all the property owners. And it will come back next year in terms of what the fire department recommends on any other variations or modifications that might be necessary. But this is consistent with what the council did on May 7th, just inadvertently left out of the file.
Prepare the roll on special one. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Next item.
Now it's time for public comment on non-agenda items.
Okay. Brian Hutchins. Brian Hutchins, we're going to talk about things that are city issues, and the Balkan War is not the city issue.
Well, the city of West Hollywood actually...
West Hollywood's not a city of Los Angeles issue.
Well, I just want to counsel you against, if you pardon the impression...
You're going to counsel me on what?
Against declaring war on Serbia like the city of West Hollywood did and like the West Hollywood Democratic Club did. Gee, I'm out of luck here. Well, anyway, this is the headline right here. But, you know, you really missed out on the Green E part because the Green E is very much integrated with everything else. I wanted to say, for the benefit of Mr. Freeman, it should be noted that there are other analyses than so-called overall global warming. Just for interest, note the presumption that because we have just noticed the largest iceberg that we have ever seen breaking from Antarctica, after a mere 10 years or so of looking, Antarctica must be melting. Could you discern that, though, could you discern the difference of that between an increase in snowfall on the continent of Antarctica? How could you? And what if such precipitation has been measured there? This is just one example of how the computerized simulacra are belied by observation. My hope is that you will not pretend, as Santa Monica officials have, that folks can be fooled all of the time. Mr. Freeman has lost it since he was an official for the TVA. Tennessee Valley Authority. He is utterly blindsided with his new investment banker wonderkin of a boss against the clear need for regulation of the free market that his previous boss, FDR, could see. Currently, such as related in last Sunday's Times front page story, in spite of its headline, the bull market and deficit are not sustainable in a green sense or otherwise. This is not to say that I don't think there's climate change. It's just not what is modeled on the garbage in, garbage out computers. You have to look at the data, and unfortunately, they're just not. Anyway, I sure hope you don't declare a war on Serbia and join the warmongers like Tony Blair and Al Gore against the wishes of President Clinton. Thank you.
Okay, that was the only card we have, so the public comment period is closed. Next item.
On the regular agenda, we have items 15, 16, 19, and 20, which are executive session items.
Okay, closed session items, so we'll hold those on the desk. Members, we also have a special council meeting, which also deals with the closed session item. So with your permission, we'll call the roll for this. We'll recess the regular session and call the roll for the special session.
Alatorre, Bernson, Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Fornish, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 12 members present, a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, then we'll go into executive session, so will all those not involved with the executive session, please leave the council chamber. We want to thank you, students, for coming today. We hope you enjoyed it, but we are going to an executive session, which is confidential and privileged information, so we'd appreciate your...
The order. Any questions on item number 12? If
So moved.
not, clerk will open the roll, close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, that matter will be deemed adopted. Next item.
Item number 15 on the regular agenda
All
is
right.
authorization of the city attorney to expend $750,000 in settlement.
All right, there's no questions. Open the roll, close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, that item will be deemed adopted. Next item.
Number 16, a request from the city attorney to expend $160,000 in settlement of case.
All right, there's a motion to approve the settlement. Is there any, open the roll on the settlement, close the roll.
11
All right.
ayes.
Matter will be deemed adopted. Settlement. Next item.
Item number 19 on the regular agenda, authorize the city attorney to expend $163,859.04.
All right. Open the roll on the settlement. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right. That settlement will be deemed adopted. All right. Any other matters to come before
And
the...
now is the time for request to be excused from council.
All right.
We have Councilmember Fuhrer, request to be excused on Tuesday. We have...
We don't need it.
We have Councilmember Galanter, request to be excused on June 4th and June 8th. Needs motion.
All right. There's Mr. Holden moves. Mr. Hernandez seconds. So if there's no objection, that'll be the order.
Request Mr. Alatorre to be excused on Tuesday, May 18th. Meets policy for city business.
All right. There's a motion. There's no objection. That'll be the order. Next item.
And Councilmember Fuhrer, request to be excused on June 16th and June 22nd to leave at 12 noon for personal business.
That you need. All right. There's no objection. That'll be the order.
Okay.
Next item.
The desk is clear.
All right, the desk is cleared. We have adjourning resolutions. Will everybody please stand? On behalf of Mr. Ferraro, I would like to make the following German resolutions. First one is Herbert Boz, who passed away very recently. He was a political campaign manager who engineered President Nixon's victory in the state of California. And he is survived by his wife, Aline. I'd like to second that. And secondly, to Sally Payne Kelly, who was the wife of Art Kelly, former president, I believe, of Western Airlines. And Irving Ostrin, who died today, May 14th, is survived by his wife, Aggie, and his daughter is, I believe, is related to Hal Bernson's deputy. Okay? Yes. Ms. Chick.
I'd like to adjourn in memory of Martin Harry Whitkin and his wife Lillian Axler Witkin. Martin passed away in his sleep April 2nd, 1999, and his wife of 66 years passed away in her sleep 2 days after her husband was buried. They were 20-year residents in Reseda, but had been married in Denver and lived there for many years before coming to Reseda. They're survived by brother Morris Witkin and Molly Witkin, sister, and also their 2 sons, Stephen and Leonard, and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And I'd like to just read one section of what their son Stephen sent to me, saying, "Many things can be said for both, but the best memorial is that they were loving, caring, honorable people and are already deeply missed."
Yes, Ms. Galiner.
I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of the cartoonist Saul Steinberg, whose cartoons, I knew them first in the New Yorker. They've been in the New Yorker forever, it seems like. But this was a man who was just a wonderful artist, and he was funny. And he did it with a lightness, both of line and of humor, that I think is something. I've always wanted to be a cartoonist, and this is certainly one of the reasons why. And his cartoons are going to be really missed.
Anybody else is in the adjourning resolution? If not, clerk call the roll. Okay. Yes. All right, the meeting is adjourned.